Welcome to the AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, my guest is Michael Renaud from Proactive Training Solutions. Welcome, Michael.
Hey, thanks for having me, Brian. This is fantastic.
I really appreciate you coming into Akron for the show, and I had a great time having dinner with you last night.
It was a lot of fun. That was a great place. That was a good burger and wings.
Yep, and you got to see some real Akron weather. We got rained on the way out.
Yeah, that's very true. Some crazy lightning storm last night. Yeah.
Well, let's get started with a little bit about you. Can you just tell me a little bit about your career path that led you to where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if any career path in auto is a traditional career path, right? Most career paths in auto, unless you're born into it, find a various way. And mine was too. I, left college and got into a career I worked in the political field for many years in the 90s and early 2000s. And there was a gentleman who inspired me to come into auto. He kept telling me all the time, what are you doing with this politics stuff? You want to make a difference in someone's life? Want to make a real difference in someone's life? Sell them a car. And he would say it to me all the time. And it was so cliche, but it helped me understand what the car business could be. So I changed my career in my early 30s and went to New York and worked in the auto business I was in New York at the time, but went to the auto business and started washing cars and detailing cars in my early 30s. And went from there to the BDC, to the sales desk, and eventually evolved into being the vice president of the auto group. Did that for several years, and we went through a buy-sell, and one day someone gave me a call and said, hey, what are you doing after the buy-sell? And I said, I don't know, this is dragging on for a while, we'll see what happens. And she goes, well, I think there's someone you should speak to. Do you know Shelley Ram? And I said, no, I don't know Shelley. And she said, well, do you remember Alan Ram? And I said, yeah, of course I remember Alan. And she goes, well, Shelley's his sister, and she's taken over the company, and the company's looking for someone from auto to come in and help run the company now. And a 15-minute conversation with Shelley led to, became an hour and a half or 2 hours, and we've had the same vision and goals, and here we are today. I get to do something that's fantastic. I get to work with good salespeople and good sales managers and make them great, and try to, work to take the salespeople and manager business and help them understand that they need to evolve to a better place and become stronger and better at their game every single day. I wish, what a question. I wish I had a crystal ball here to look into it and tell you, what I think is going to happen with EVs or what I think is going to happen with autonomous driving, which I just was in San Francisco last week and saw one drive by me for the first time, no driver with a passenger in the back. It was like a surreal movie. It was wild. But I don't know what's going to happen with all of that. But I can tell you one thing that's happening. And one thing that's happening is the corporatization of the car dealership. And that's what we're starting to see across the mom and pop car dealership of the world. The 2 or 3 stores are getting bought up by larger corporate. And we've seen it in other industries all through the world, and we're starting to see it now through the American auto industry. And I don't know if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing, but it's something that as employees in these dealerships, we need to be ready for. And we need to start upping our game and getting better and understanding that there needs to be guardrails, there needs to be guidance, we need to be mentors, we need to be teachers, we need to be coaches, we need to be leaders. And by raising the game of our teams, we're going to meet those, whichever way the industry goes, but this corporatization way, you'll be ready for it when it happens to your store.
Well, let's dive into that a little bit.
Okay.
What are the mindsets and the skill sets that a manager needs to have in order to succeed in the new environment?
I think, listen, there's 2 new environments, right? We have a new environment of this kind of wave of corporatization of the dealerships, and then we have the new post-COVID environment of the selling world, right? But just in that corporatization and in that path, the things that we need to prepare for is process matters, okay? We need, as managers and as leaders, we need to start running the store and not letting the store run us. And by understanding that there are processes and mechanisms to every single thing that we do in the dealership, following them, getting our team on them with ones that we create, are going to lead to our success. And really set us up in the right way. Because most dealerships, they operate under the premise of we don't always do what we always do.
Yeah.
And it got worse during COVID, right? COVID exacerbated that. We need to get back to a place of we always do what we always do. 90% of car deals are the same. Sure, the vehicle changes, the person changes. Then there's that 10% of corporate leases and, the anomaly, out of state to go and sell into Massachusetts where it's a DMV nightmare to try to get an out of state deal done, right? But there's 90% that we need to do the same. And we need to follow the same way every time, because if the managers understand that these processes are being followed and we're doing the same thing the same way every time, a lot of the extra activities that end up causing managers to take away time from the two things that they need to do, which is bringing customers into the showroom and selling cars. Those are when you're a desk manager, those are your two jobs. Those are your two primary jobs. And everything else you do that takes away from that is hurting those two things.
Let's talk about COVID, because during COVID and post-COVID, all the way really kind of up until just recently, there was a line of people that were waiting to pay way more money than ever before for the cars that were sitting on the lot. So the salespeople, they were order takers. And if the customer didn't want to pay crazy money, they just said next. The manager didn't have to leave his little castle of the desk, because he just sent the salesman out saying 10 grand over, 10 grand over. Everybody made money, everybody got fat, and unfortunately, everybody got lazy. How can a store, how can a salesperson, a manager, a dealership as a whole, how do they get their groove back?
They have to. They have to get that groove. They have to get that mojo back. There's a great Allen saying of, in good times we create bad habits, and in bad times we create good habits. We created a lot of bad habits in this good time, and we understand the veterans who are there. There's two classes. There's the veterans who were selling before COVID, and then what I call the COVID babies, all of those who started in the business during COVID. Okay, the veterans who existed before COVID, they know the bad habits they picked up. They need to look in the mirror and have an honest conversation and shed those bad habits and pick up and remind themselves of the good habits, which is a muscle that you need to work, right?
And it probably has a lot to do with confidence too, right?
100%.
If I haven't hit a home run in my last 20 at-bats, I'm not going to walk up there expecting to hit a home run.
Yeah. I use the analogy as this. Desk managers currently, I love you. I love my desk managers, but the reality is they've been married for 20 years. Their spouse has kicked them out and they need to date again. And they are scared to get back out there and date. And that's why when I'm sitting with salespeople, right, when we do in-store training, I'll meet with the managers in the morning, and then I'll meet with the salespeople in the afternoon. When I meet with the salespeople in the afternoon, I meet with the managers in the morning. They tell me how they get involved in every single deal, and they're in there, right away with the salespeople. And then I get in the salespeople. I go, how many, are we going back and forth with a quote sheet at the desk before, the sales manager's coming in and TOing? They're like, oh yeah, we're looking at 4 or 5 pencils. 4 or 5 pencils. We're losing, $500 every time that goes back and forth? Managers need to get their groove back, start getting in there after the first pencil. I know some owners and GMs who have policies that they want the managers in there right away. Salespeople don't even give a pencil. But the reality is the best closers in the showroom are your desk managers. And they need to get in there after the first pencil and end this back and forth, because think about it. 2 pencils is $1,000. 4 pencils is $2,000 a gross. If we're going back into a market where we have a volume game instead of a gross game, we don't have gross that we can afford to lose anymore. Yeah. We need to stop the bleeding and get in right away. And that doesn't mean just on the sales floor. The salesperson needs to know and understand that if they're going down a rabbit hole with a customer and on the phone, Okay, and it happens, right? We're just human beings, and sometimes we just don't get along. And the salesperson's raising their hand and saying, boss, I got a deal here, but this guy and I just aren't getting along. The sales manager needs to just grab that phone and get involved. No talking to the salesperson, none of this. Ask him, okay, where are you? What are we up to? Okay, this is where I am in the conversation. I know I can close him. He's just not understanding me. Can you explain it a little better? You got it. Boom, manager gets on the phone. Customer's coming in the store. There's no way that customer is not coming in the store. Yeah. The salesperson knows there's a deal. They just need help, and they have to feel comfortable asking for that help. In this market, you managers need to be aggressive and eager to get involved early and often. Customers today know that the end of the deal is there at the desk. They don't mind paying more. They're paying more right now. They're still paying more, and they're going to keep paying more. But we need to level up that manager involvement, because the customer knows at the end of the day that's what they're getting to.
You know, with managers being as busy as they are, how do you coach a manager to be available? You know, I mean, because if I'm sitting at my desk and I'm a salesperson and I'm talking on the phone, you know, how do you instruct that manager, like, hey, you need to be looking for this, or like, what do you tell them?
Yep, and it's hard because right now, a lot of the managers I meet with and talk to, they're understaffed. They probably can use another person at the desk with them. Mm-hmm. There's managers that I talk to, their sales floor might be a little understaffed, so they're picking up some, they're getting involved in deals more or putting more on their plate and getting cars out and helping the staff. Managers need to, when I said they need to start running the store and not letting the store run them. When they're buried in what I'll call busy work, anything that does not involve selling a car or getting customers in that door, those are things that they need to start shedding, okay? And a lot of the things that keep managers busy throughout the day is cleaning up car deals, okay? I can't tell you how many times I sit at the desk with managers and I'm just sitting and watching them, and they're just spending, hours, literally hours cleaning up old car deals. But if we had better processes, maybe a check sheet on the deal jacket, okay? If we lock down those processes and train the sales staff on those processes, then after that training, the sales staff will have less errors and will be cleaning up less messes after deals. We're not going to find blocks of hours. Yeah. But if we can find 15 minutes here, a half hour here, 20 minutes here, right? I just got you an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah. There's a training.
But exactly. And we lose sight of the importance of training. And we lose sight, and it doesn't have to, and I'm not talking about I'm just talking about training on processes in the store. Okay? I meet managers right now. I'm asking managers, when was the last time you did a walk around with your sales team on the showroom floor? They're not getting done because they're too much, again, busy work. So we have to train our staff to be picking up this, doing things right, so we're not cleaning up messes.
That's one thing when I was selling cars. Like I got trained really well on a walk around.
Right, me too.
I learned so much things to say
every
about a car.
Week.
And I really feel I could probably do a better walk around today, 20 years later, than I have gotten the last couple times I went to buy a car. I don't even think I got a walk around the last time.
I was with a GM of a Kia store, and we were talking about the EV market. And he was talking about how he's just struggling with customers in EVs. He feels everyone's touching an EV, but he's having trouble closing them. And we kind of started talking about like what are their concerns, and it's the concern that every EV customer has, right? That we know right now is this charging anxiety that exists. Mm-hmm. It's real. It's a real anxiety, and it's fair, right? So, but that aside, how do you help the customer overcome that? And he's like, kind of looking at me, and he goes, well, the navigation system, I think the navigation will show, when you put in your route, it goes to the different charging stations that are going to charge you the fastest and help you understand that. I said, so why don't you guys make a video about it? He goes, yeah, I got to get one of the guys on the sales floor to do that. I'm like, well, why don't you do it? He goes, I don't know how to use that stuff. As we grew in management, myself included, it happens to all of us, as you grow in management, you start to forget things. And one of those things is the technology in the car, because we're not doing walkarounds.
Yeah.
But the guys who raised us, so to speak, our managers, when we were coming up, they made sure they knew what was in those cars because they were doing walkarounds. And they might not have done it. They would stand there and watch us do it, but they were learning from us. And they figured it out from us because they didn't know a car. So doing that walk around, if you're nervous, if you don't know the technology, have your sales staff do it. Let them do it. Learn from them. They know it. I promise you, these sales staffs aren't the problem. They're hungry. They just need mentoring and teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, when we were coming up, there was a lot more training. Like my first manager when I was a lot tech, he would put a $100 bill on the ground and say, if you can park, I want you to put that Cadillac on that $100 bill, and if I can't scoot it out, it's yours. And
that's awesome.
That's how I learned to make a line of cars,
right.
Because I wanted that $100 bill,
exactly.
And I figured it out.
And we've lost sight of that at the desk. And it's not, and I'm not blaming desk managers, it's work, everything comes through the desk, right? Service complaint, where does it go to the service manager? No, it doesn't go to the service manager, it goes to the desk. DMV problem, does it go back to the DMV clerk? Nope, it goes to the desk. F&I issue, does it go to the F&I manager? Nope, it goes to the desk. Everything in the dealership touches the desk, okay?
Yeah, you're right.
For better or worse, it's up to the desk managers of how they can train it out. Can I train the receptionist to get the service manager complaints to go to the service manager instead of coming to me? Can I train the DMV clerk to work with customers to help them understand a problem? Whatever it is, come up with solutions to shed these things instead of just dealing with them and complaining about them. Because that's what's killing deals, and what's, going back to your original question, what's keeping the desk manager from being available to getting, because trust me, I talk to managers all the time.
Yeah.
They don't want to be doing all that work. They want to be in there closing deals. They want to be in there closing deals. They want to get on the phone. They want to be involved. They want to do these things. They're getting bogged down in all this, nonsense.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you don't look for your cleanup hitter on the baseball team to be a ticket taker.
You're right.
Or cook the hot dogs, right?
100%.
They're not doing those things. You want them to be out there swinging their bat.
I want them swinging their backs. I want them having time. I get managers tell me they don't even have time for a morning meeting every single day to start the day. We talk about sports. Sports teams, they have game days, maybe half the year. Maybe half the year in baseball they have game days. In the car business, we have a game day every day. If your store's open every day except Thanksgiving and Christmas, you have 363 days of game day.
Yeah.
363 days that everyone needs to bring it. 363 days that everyone needs to pump up, perform right, and it's not easy. It's hard, but if you have the processes in place, if you have the people saying the same words over the phone, if you have them following the same process on the showroom floor, 10% of the time, something's not going to follow that. But if you can get that following, 90% of the time would be wonderful. But if we can do it 70% of the time, if the motto can be we always do what we always do and not we don't always do what we always do, you're going to have time to get involved in those deals.
Let's talk about growing sales, because you and I were both salespeople for a long time, and every salesman has the same answer to every problem. Doesn't matter what the problem is, right? Sell more.
Sell more cars, your problems go away.
Yeah, if you sell more, all problems go away.
All problems go away.
And you know what? If you talk, a lot of people think, how do we sell more cars? More leads, right? More leads, more sales. Mm-hmm. I don't know that matches up. How do you feel about that?
So I don't feel well about that. So because let's look at what are leads. Let's really say what leads are. Leads are the dealership's advertising budget generating customers, trying to get them to raise their hand to say that they're shoppers. Mm-hmm. And it's our dealership's goal to turn them into buyers at our store. Mm-hmm. Correct?
Oh, yeah.
Right, that's the process. So if we have a store and all the sales team comes to the boss and they go, boss, these leads suck, right? It's like the scene out of Glengarry, right? The leads suck and everything sucks and you suck, right? No, what happens? The boss throws more money. Okay, I'll buy more leads. Oh, who do you want me to buy? What lead provider? Okay, I'll buy them, whatever. And he throws more money in and we sell a couple more cars. But what's happening in our lead to show numbers? What happens when we open up the CRM, and hopefully it's not garbage in, garbage out, but let's hope the numbers are pretty good in the CRM, and we dig into it, and we see that before we put in those advertising dollars, 30% of our customers were getting those, 30% of those leads were showing up, right? After we put that money in, now 28% of our leads are showing up. We're selling more cars because we put a lot more money in the pool, which generated us more leads, but we're not converting at a better rate. We're actually doing worse.
Oh, because you cherry pick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But we don't look at, before making that decision about the money, no one looks at the numbers. No one says, why don't we get our lead to show rate higher? How about I don't put money in? How about right now, okay, our lead to show is at 28%. How about you guys get me to 35 and I'll maybe put a couple more bucks in? Or you won't even ask me for a couple more bucks because you'll actually be having a lead process and you'll understand that we have this many leads coming into the store. We have this much capacity to answer it. If I keep filling this pool, we're going to overflow and our capacity to answer it properly is still not being fixed. We need to take this and move it up. We need to fix our ability to answer leads properly and communicate with customers, because the reality is leads aren't BS. Like, it's Darth Vader and Bart Simpson and your mom aren't submitting leads anymore like they did when we were selling cars.
Well, no one gets tricked by the button. Like,
right.
Nobody accidentally fills out the form.
Exactly. They know what's going to hit. When I hit that button, I'm going to be buried in emails, phone calls, and texts.
Yeah.
Okay? And I should be buried. And I'm waiting to be buried. But do you know how many mystery shops that we do, internet mystery shops that we do, where people aren't even calling customers, let alone emailing or texting them for hours after, let alone days? It's shocking. So, we're driving this traffic, we're driving these leads, but the stores aren't answering them the right way. And if we answered them the right way, if we sent a quick little video of introduction, if we, left voicemails that didn't say, hey, I'm just calling to see if you're still interested, and it was, hey, I'm so glad you reached out to us. You picked a great time to call us. I cannot wait to talk to you about the new Grand Cherokee. What kind of different voicemail are we leaving? Right? How are we treating these customers, and are we really trying to turn them into buyers, or are we just being transactional because my boss told me I need to clean my leads and make 100 phone calls today? Instead of my boss telling me, I want you to see you make 2 appointments today. I want to see you make 2 appointments every day, because I know after 2 weeks of consistently making 2 appointments every day, you're going to have at least an appointment every day. And when you come in here with an appointment under your belt ready for the day, you are a very different salesperson than when you walk in here with nothing.
Yeah.
We all were.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's understandable. But as a manager, as a leader, as a coach, my job is to make sure that you come in with the guy who has an appointment under their belt and not as the guy with the appointment not under their belt. That's my job at the desk. Again, I have to work at shedding all of those things, and we can help you. There are a million people out there that can help you work on shedding those things and creating those processes. Mm-hmm. But once you shed those things, once you create those processes, now you can get involved in a very different way.
Yeah, you can be laser focused on what your actual job title is.
And what you enjoy doing, right? I mean, why keep doing the thing we hate? Let's get a process in place. If you take an hour, sit with your managers, create a process, train that process to the sales staff, watch them, follow them, see them do it, not micromanage them, just watch them from a distance, spot check it, let them know you're inspecting what you expect. Then you have a very different job. You're now managing processes, you're managing the store, you're running things, and things aren't running you. You're being proactive and not reactive.
I kind of want to come back to the TO again.
Yeah.
I want to hear your like warm up speech. Here I am, the tired manager. I'm not taking TOs. I'm out of practice. Give me what you tell. What do you say to them when you're trying to inspire them to get up and get out there and do it again?
I ask them how much they loved doing it in the past. How much it was nice. It was nice to sit here and say, hey, listen, it's $5,000 over sticker, take it or leave it, kick rocks, I got 5 other people behind me. That was nice and all, and it was comfortable. But now we got to work again.
Yeah.
And you want to work again. And you remember how much fun it was and how great it felt when that customer was looking at you and telling you, yeah, I got to go talk to the wife. And you turn them around and close them right there in the showroom. There's nothing better than that. Or when they come in on that one truck that you know you don't have, but you know 86% of the time the customer is going to change their vehicle anyway.
Yep.
And you work them into something else. And they leave and you spot them there. And then you pick up a referral because you built a relationship and you have happy customers and happy salespeople and you're leading them and things are running smoothly. That's what you have to inspire them. You have to inspire them and understand that at least it's a structure to help you get started. Mm-hmm. Because I know you're smart enough and you can do it from here.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you can handle it. Okay. But I need to give you a start. And what's happening is no one's giving anyone the start because either someone's afraid to ask for the help or their superior can't see that they just need to give them the help. Yeah. And that's what's so important. And, one thing that I tell all of our clients, every time I'm with them, every time I'm pitching them, first day, middle of the, years into the agreement, whatever it is, we're your consultant. We're here to help you. Okay, yes, we focus on lead to show and leadership and phone and internet, but that doesn't mean we can't help you in other areas of your business. It doesn't mean that, we don't know someone who can help you do this. You need to look at us as a broad-ranging consultant. And every vendor that you work with, the dealers need to look at them that way and understand that, yeah, some vendors don't have all the resources to support and help you, and others really do. And the ones that do, you have to take advantage of. And when the sales managers know and the sales team know that they have, like in us with Alan Ram, a consultant that they can call at any time to help them over a hurdle, which could be as simple as, we're getting this consistent customer objection on interest rates. Okay, here's a script, no problem, I can help you. To a manager who says, I have a problem, I got one of my vets who's just, refusing to follow the process and do anything. And now I'm starting to have a salesperson or two who's now wanting to do the same thing. I don't want to take my vet out of the game by punishing him and having some consequence, but I got to keep the room even Steven here for the sanity of my floor. How do I do that? Right? So it can be as complicated as that or as simple as a word track. Let the teams have access. Let them know that they have support systems. What happens is, as a manager at the desk, you don't feel that you have the support system. Mm-hmm. So now I got to be tough and be like, I don't need anything and I don't need anyone to help me. But really, if someone came in and helped you and took your sales floor, and instead of, the 10 salespeople selling 10 cars, all of a sudden in the next 2 months, they're selling 12, 13 cars. And 6 months later, they're at 14, 15, 16.
That's a 60% growth.
Right.
Wow.
But I'm just talking 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 cars per salesperson. Do you know what I mean? That's the growth we're looking for. We're looking to hit singles and doubles here. We're not looking for grand slams and home runs. Mm-hmm. Okay? This isn't the time. We had grand slams and home runs. Okay? Yeah. When we're selling Escalades, $20,000, $30,000 over sticker or whatever it is, and 3 years ago, those same, Escalades were $20,000 under invoice, right? Yeah. So, that was our grand slams and home runs. We need to get back to single and double baseball. Okay? We need to be incrementally working to make our sales teams better. Yeah. We're not going to take a 10-car salesperson and say, all right, I want you to start selling me 15 cars. Because as Alan Ram always taught us, if they knew how to do it, they'd be doing it. Okay? I see so many managers who just blame their sales floor and point fingers at their sales floor. And I've seen GMs point fingers at the desk and owners point fingers at the GM. And no one ever points that finger back at themselves and say, did I teach them how to do it? Do they know how to do it? Am I giving them the right support to know how to do it? Those questions as leaders, coaches, managers, mm-hmm. from owner on down needs to be asked when what you're asking isn't getting done the right way.
If I'm a dealer, how do I know that my manager's how can I be sure that my managers have the skills, and how can I be sure that my managers are doing the training to give my salespeople the skills?
We need to inspect what we expect. I mean, bottom line, right? You hire a training program to come into your store, and it's an Allen Ram training program, and you know that they need to do rings every morning. Well, show up at the store in the morning and make sure they're doing the ring. You know what I mean? Maybe test a couple of the employees as you walk through the store. Point out, you see 3 salespeople standing there. Hey guys, ring. Those salespeople look at you like you're a crazy person. They have no idea what you're talking about. They're not doing the training program. Right? If you enact a new process and I want every customer to fill out this referral sheet, and I want this referral sheet to be put, those referral leads to be put into the CRM, and I want that sheet to be in the deal jacket, if that's your new process, well then every once in a while, every couple days, you need to pull a couple jackets, see if that referral sheet's in there, go in the CRM, make sure the names are put in. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes to do that. And then you know your process is being followed. But if you're going to enact new processes and new things and not inspect what you expect, well, then we have a problem, right? Then what are you doing? That is when we have to look in the mirror as that leader, manager, and coach, even if we're the owner, and we have to say, am I just sitting up here, on my throne issuing dictates?
Yeah.
No one's following them because my eyes aren't looking at it. Right? Wherever your boss's eyes are where your eyes are.
Yeah.
Right? If you think, and it doesn't matter, I don't care what job you hold. I don't care if you're working in the car business or Chick-fil-A, or Sephora. It doesn't matter. Wherever your boss's eyes are is where your eyes are going to go.
I think they say that about horses too.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Well, my daughter rides horses. Yes.
Like wherever you're looking, the horse is going to go.
100%. Yeah. She learned that lesson very early on, right?
Yeah.
Right. And same thing. We're taught at a very young age to keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah.
Right. So we've taken that skill and brought it to life, and we keep our eye on the ball. But our manager's job is to be the ball. Right? If we're not the ball, if we're not what they're following, then it's a problem. I use the analogy a lot of managers need to be like, remember when you were a kid and you went bowling and they put the little bumpers down in the gutter, right? Why'd they do that?
So you wouldn't get gutter balls.
Right. That's a manager's job. Your job is to make sure your staff doesn't roll gutter balls, because I guarantee you, if you just stop the gutter balls, that's 2 deals a salesperson a month right there. Those are the leaks, right?
Yep.
The thing is we look as a dealership. It's just, I love Alan's quotes and I love to share them. So you're going to get another one here. And one of the things, and if you look at a dealership, is there's leaks. There's leaks everywhere, and we focus so much on how many cars did you sell, what'd you sell, what'd you sell, what'd you sell. And we never look into the numbers and say, it's not about who sells the most. It's who's spilling the least, right? It's when we look at a lead to show number and we see that, Bobby's taken 150 phone ups, okay? And great, he made 80 appointments, but only 30 of those 80 show, right? And Margaret only took 100 phone calls, but she made 60 appointments and she got 35 of them to show. Who do you want working for you?
Yeah.
But you would never know that by the numbers because we run on our gut. And I think I heard him take a lot of phone calls and I see him sell a lot of cars, but I don't realize that the volume of calls that he is taking versus the cars he is selling, when I can have Margaret in a much better position.
You'd be a lot better with 2 Margarets.
Exactly. But do we look at the statistics? Do we look at our team this way? Have you seen the Deion Sanders, the primetime show on Amazon Prime? Have you seen it? It's fantastic, okay? He's fantastic. But one of the things he does is he brings all the players into the room on the first day, right, into their training room. And he tells all the players, he says to them, he goes, I want you all to understand one thing. And this is so fitting for the car business, and it's perfect. It's awesome. I want you all to understand one thing. It is my job to find your replacement. And it's your job to make sure I don't do my job by being the best at your position. And if you think about our sales floor, And I ask owners and GMs this all the time. I go, are you adding sales desk to your sales floor? They said, no, this is, what you see is what you get when it comes to sales desk. Okay, so does that mean there's a unit in gross dollar amount on every single desk? Well, yeah, if you look at it that way, yeah, I guess you're right. There is a dollar amount. Okay, so do we treat this like Moneyball, and do we draw a line across and we say, okay, everyone below this line, we're looking to replace them or lift them up above the line? And if you as a manager and me as a manager can get and lift them up above the line and help them and support them and give them what they need, fantastic. That's amazing. But if we're going to have the attitude we're just going to throw them to the wolves, then why do we have them there in the first place? Let's invest in, going out into that job pool right now isn't easy. Okay, it's not hard, but it's not easy. Okay, and it takes a little work. It takes a lot less work to try to get a team member to where you want them right now. Okay, but if you work at that salesperson and I work on that salesperson and maybe another manager even or a senior salesperson helps out and they still aren't progressing, well, that's when we have to, that's when we have to look at things in a different way. Okay, that's when we have to understand that, again, there's a dollar amount and I'm not getting to that dollar amount. I'm not going to achieve my goals if I don't get to that dollar amount. The store's not going to achieve their goals. My boss isn't going to be happy. So now I need to fix that. And that's how we have to start looking at things.
I love the Moneyball analogy is great. I think that's a good place to call it quits. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience today, Michael?
I think the only thing I really want to share is, everything I said today, sure, does it sound easy? Maybe, maybe not. It takes work. Everything takes work. The question is, do we want to work harder in all this nonsense that's keeping us busy and keeping us from the two things that matter, which are, selling cars and getting people in the store? Or do we want to work smarter, make our teams better? Okay, we have this between managers and salespeople is a symbiotic relationship. Your pay plans completely depend on each other. And managers, your pay plan depends on your sales staff far more than your sales staff's pay plan depends on depends on you. So the performance of them, okay, every leak, you need to think of every leak as someone just stole money out of your pocket. And that's how it has to be looked at and how it has to be treated. How do I seal up that leak? And how do I now convert that into a car sale?
Thank you for coming today, Michael.
Thank you for having me. It's been fantastic.
A great time.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to join us for this AutoSuccess Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, my guest has been Michael Renaud from Proactive Training Solutions. We hope to see you again on a future episode. This one is Over the Curb and Burning Gas.